Okay, welcome to classwork 12. This time you're challenged with drawing something a little bit different. If we look at this front view that you're given of a conical fume extraction hood, and the giveaway word I suppose here is conical. If we know that the base of a cone is circular and it comes to a point, and then if we cut through that cone parallel to the base, we're going to end up with a circle up here as well. Now we can see that it's not just a standard conical shape, we can see that it's also had a piece cut out of it here, which we call in graphical terms truncated. So the idea here with this one is that we'll draw a transition piece that will be a conical shape, so from a large circle to a smaller circle, and then we'll just simply remove this part using the standard extrude tool. Now in the past, if we were going to draw two sections, if they were different shapes, we had to make sure they were the same number of edges, but in this case, being a cone, we have a circular base and a circular section here, so there should be no need to have to divide that into more than just the one edge. So taking note of that, we've got 665 being our largest size, so let's go to Creo and let's get started. So File, New, as usual, sheet metal, let's call it Fume Extraction, or Fume X, that'll do me, EX, OK to that, OK again, and as usual, shapes and blend, and let's click on the section tab and let's define the first section or sketch that the first section's on. Click onto a work plane and click sketch. OK, so let's use our circle tool. No real need to put any center lines down because everything's symmetrical about these axes. Click once, twice, and I think it was 665 from memory, I think, was that right? Just better go back and check that one. Yeah, 665, and then we've got another circle of 190. So back to Creo, let's accept that as the first sketch. Let's go to our second sketch, section 2, sketch, and another circle directly above it because it is a regular cone of 190. Okay, let's click OK to that one. You can see here now we've now got the blend between the two sections looking quite nice. A height, of course, we need to get that right. Looks like there's a height of 380 between the two sections. So make sure our height is 380, hit the enter key, and we can see our nice conical hood there. It looks like a bit like a lampshade. Okay, accept that. And now we need to remove some material so it looks like this front view here. So we can see here, here's our front view. So if we were to remove along these lines. So the information given to us here, you can see, is that this line of truncation is at 30 degrees to the base, and this other line of truncation is 190 millimeters down from this top section. So we just need to basically draw these two lines and then constrain them and then make them part of a closed loop of lines which we can then extrude. So back to Creo, either of these work planes that pass through the center will be sufficient to draw the sketch on, so let's click on one of those. Click on the sketch tool. It's a little bit different to what it looked like in the standard model. And we're going to need some references to snap to. So come up to the references tab like you normally would do. And let's select this edge here. Why not while we're there? So the other edge, the top and the bottom. And then we can start with our line tool, a line that meets somewhere along the axis out to the left hand side, and then I'm going to draw a line from, actually probably should have done that differently. I'm actually going to draw a line from this bottom corner here. Make sure I snap to it, and I'm going to roughly try to make that about 30 degrees. Now you can see as I'm moving my cursor there, it's giving me some constraint. It's probably a good idea not to let it snap to a constraint straight up. And actually what I should have done, come to think of it, was gone there to a point along this axis with no constraint. continued out here somewhere. I'm just going to stop those lines there, and the reason being is that I need this line which is protruding through to be extended, and one of the things that's Creo doesn't like it unless these two lines are parallel to each other. So click onto that start of that line and hover around until we see the parallel symbol. Oh, there it was there. Let's see, there it is there. You can see the parallel line symbol, and then we can continue to close our closed loop of lines like so. Let's check the positioning. So we need 30 degrees here and 190 down from the top. Well, let's just try the 190 first. So use your constraints normal tool, top edge there to this line, center mouse button. Oh, okay, that's interesting. It's giving me a lateral distance. And in that case then, let's change this angle in here to be 30 instead. So I'm just going to hit return to that, and I'm going back to a dimension, 1, 2, this is the angle dimension between these, which should be 30, center mouse button, that's 26, let's make that 30, and that should then result in this being 190. Let's just see if I can get that to go in there. 1, 2, 189.05. Okay, so there's some slight errors there with the 30 degrees, and this perceived height can't be exactly right. So I'm just going to undo that and leave that 30 degrees. If this is 30 degrees and it's meeting the center, this must be the right height down from the top. Okay, let's accept that sketch as being closed, and then simply go to your extrude tool, which has gone, well, there it is here, extrude, and this time rather than choosing just to one side, we're going to choose this icon, which means symmetric about the work plane, and then we can grab the handle and dynamically pull it in and out. So we'll pull it right out, make sure it's on the cut, and tick yes. So far so good. Looks like our conical shaped hood, and obviously now we want to rip it down this edge here. So we'll go to the rip command, we're going to sketch the line to represent the rip. Going to choose this work plane down the bottom here to draw on, which is looking down on top of it. Line tool, center of the axis there, 1, 2, obviously it's always the shortest edge we want to join it on. Click OK, and you can see it's ripping. Yes, we want to rip that, and then as usual the last thing to do then is to hit the flat pattern, and you can see it's flat patterned it for us, and of course we check yes. And the last thing to do is just to create another development view like we normally do. This time there's nothing in here that's flat, so I'm going to choose these two edges here that are at a right angle with each other. So I'm going to go to View, Name Views, Reorient. I'm going to choose this top surface to be my front view. You can see it saved there, and then I'm going to choose this this side surface there to be that one. Now zoom fit it. Yep, that looks good to me. Give it a name, as you normally do. Click on save, OK to that, and then normal procedure then of saving a copy of this as 3D. Oops, looks like I didn't set my working directory correctly, so I'll just put it there now, and I'll come back and do that later on. So Fume _ ex _ 3D. Okay, and then as we normally do, open that one up, open the 3D up, there it is there, and get rid of that flat pattern, and OK, and of course there's our 3D object. Okay, so then as you would normally do, you can pop that into the drawing mode, and I'm not going to do this again because it's exactly the same as the other ones that you've already done. Okay, there you go.